High in the Bolivian Andes lies a temple unlike anything else on Earth. At first glance, Puma Punku looks like a pile of broken stones. But take a closer look. Massive blocks cut with surgical precision. Angles sharper than razors. Holes drilled as if by machine, and it was built over 1,000 years ago. By a civilization with no metal tools, no wheels, no writing. So the question is simple: who built Puma Punku? And what did they know that we've forgotten? Nestled 12,800 feet above sea level in the Andean Altiplano, the ruins of Puma Punku defy both time and logic. Part of the greater Tiwanaku complex, this ancient site was first noted by European explorers in the 1500s, but its true mystery remained. Buried for centuries. Imagine this: you're standing on an empty plateau. No cities nearby, no forests for lumber. The air is thin, breathing is difficult. Yet in front of you lie stone blocks, some weighing over 100 tons, scattered like a cosmic jigsaw puzzle. Who moved them here? How were they transported without wheels, cranes, or even strong draft animals? The name Puma Punku means the door of the puma, but what it really opens is a door to a forgotten past. In 1848, Bolivian archaeologist Jose Maria Choquehuanca was among the first to describe the site in detail. What struck him most wasn't the scale, but the impossible precision. Quote, stylized voice insert, "These stones are cut with a skill that exceeds anything I have seen. They do not belong to the primitives of this land." As the 20th century progressed, satellite imagery and aerial surveys revealed something even stranger. Puma Punku seemed to have once formed an entirely symmetrical complex. Its layout hinted at sophisticated geometry, possibly even celestial alignment, but that's not what shocked researchers the most. Let's talk about the stones themselves. The primary material used at Puma Punku is andesite and diorite, both harder than iron. To cut or shape these rocks today, modern tools use diamond-tipped blades. Yet here, in a civilization supposedly without metal, we find smooth surfaces, crisp edges, and interlocking joints that fit tighter than a modern Lego brick. Let's break this down. The famous H-shaped blocks, a signature of Puma Punku, are all identical, cut to exact proportions. Many surfaces are laser flat, with no visible tool marks. Circular holes are drilled perfectly, some to a depth of several inches, impossible to achieve with stone or copper tools. Internal right angles are so precise, even a credit card cannot slide between the joints. We're not talking about crude chiseling. We're talking machine-grade symmetry. At 13,000 feet above sea level, from over a millennium ago. Insert quote from engineer Christopher Dunn, paraphrased, "These stones show evidence of advanced machining. You don't get that level of uniformity with hand tools." Could the Tiwanaku have possessed some form of lost technology? And if not the Tiwanaku, then who? Some believe Puma Punku predates them entirely, that these ruins were inherited, not built. Others claim the builders may have known principles of vibration cutting, sonic levitation, or even geopolymer casting long before our textbooks say such things existed. And here's the kicker: mainstream archaeology has no definitive answer for how Puma Punku was built. No blueprints, no inscriptions, no construction tools have ever been found. Just the stones, and their silence is deafening. The ruins of Puma Punku are commonly attributed to the Tiwanaku civilization and Andean culture that flourished around 500 to 1000 AD. But here's the problem. The level of engineering at Puma Punku does not match anything else the Tiwanaku built. Elsewhere in their empire, we find mud bricks, basic stone work, and ceremonial platforms. But at Puma Punku, massive andesite blocks, perfectly cut, arranged with surgical geometry, and transported miles from their quarry. So let's ask a difficult question. Did the Tiwanaku really build Puma Punku, or did they simply find it and repurpose it? There's growing evidence the site may be far older than we've been told. Some geological surveys suggest parts of Puma Punku may date back over 12,000 years, possibly surviving the end of the last ice age. That would place it alongside Göbekli Tepe in Turkey and the submerged ruins of Yonaguni in Japan. And then there are the myths. In Andean legend, there was once a golden age ruled by the god Virakaka, a tall, bearded figure who arrived from across the sea and taught the ancient people how to build, farm, and create civilization. Virakaka came before the sun, before the moon, and built the world with his voice and knowledge. Some researchers believe these myths aren't just metaphor, they're memory. A fading echo of a lost people with forgotten science. Were the builders of Puma Punku a prehistoric civilization wiped out by cataclysm? Did survivors of an older world pass down their knowledge, only to vanish again into time? These questions don't just challenge the timeline of Puma Punku. They challenge the very timeline of human civilization. Let's get practical. If Puma Punku is truly that precise, then surely modern technology should have no problem replicating its cuts. Right, that's what a team of engineers and stonemasons in Germany tried to find out. Using advanced diamond drills and laser cutters, they attempted to recreate the H-shaped stones and circular drill holes of Puma Punku. Result: with modern machines, yes, the shapes could be recreated. By hand, nearly impossible. With copper tools and stone hammers, forget it. In fact, one team spent over 10 hours trying to hand chisel a single groove, and still couldn't match the clean angles seen at the site. Insert engineer commentary paraphrased. To do this by hand would take years. And even then, we never match the symmetry. Let's break this down technically. Symmetry: the stones match in size and angles to within less than a millimeter. Flatness: some surfaces are smoother than modern countertops. Alignment: interlocking notches fit together like puzzle pieces without mortar. And perhaps strangest of all, no tool marks have been found on many of the blocks. Not the scratch of a chisel, not the ripple of impact. Just silence, precision, as if the stone was shaped without touch. So, what are the theories? Theory 1. Geopolymer stone casting. Some scientists suggest the stones weren't cut at all but cast like ancient concrete. But there's no residue, no molds, and no slag or pouring tools. Theory 2. Sonic or vibration technology. What if the ancients used sound frequencies or resonance to manipulate stone at the molecular level? It sounds like science fiction until you realize similar legends exist from Egypt, Tibet, and India. Theory 3. Lost advanced tools. Could there have been a toolkit, metallic, magnetic, or mechanical, that's now vanished? Something once common, now extinct? The deeper we dig, the more it seems Puma Punku isn't just a ruin. It's a technological anomaly, and like all anomalies, it doesn't fit neatly into the story we've been told. The anomalies at Puma Punku do not exist in isolation. Around the world, there are other ancient sites that exhibit a startling level of precision, engineering, and unknown technique. Sites that suggest there may have once been a shared, global body of knowledge. At Giza in Egypt, the pyramids align perfectly with the stars of Orion's belt and display a precision of construction that defies simple explanations. The massive blocks, some weighing over 70 tons, were transported and placed with millimeter accuracy. In Baalbek, Lebanon, the trilithon stones weigh more than 800 tons each. No modern crane could lift them today. Yet there they sit aligned, balanced, and locked into place without the aid of mortar. In India, the temple of Kailasa at Ellora was not built stone by stone, it was carved downward from a single rock cliff-like reverse architecture. The scale, geometry, and decorative detail of the temple are staggering. And at Easter Island, the Moai statues were moved across rough terrain for miles. The method remains uncertain. Some legends claim they walked with energy or chance. What connects these places? One pattern is undeniable. Each exhibits not only an advanced understanding of construction, but also astronomical alignment, harmonic resonance, and sacred geometry. They were not simply shelters or tombs, they were machines of meaning. Could Puma Punku be part of this global network? Some researchers propose the existence of an ancient seafaring civilization long before the Phoenicians or Polynesians, who mapped the stars, crossed oceans, and shared knowledge across the continents. They left behind clues not just in stone but in myth, language, and mathematics. Many of these sites, including Puma Punku, align with the so-called Earth grid or ley lines, invisible energy channels theorized to link sacred ancient sites across the globe. The alignments are too consistent to be random. These structures may have been connected not just culturally, but energetically. Perhaps they formed a forgotten system of knowledge, erased by time but encoded in stone. Was Puma Punku a part of that system, a node in a planetary circuit built by minds far older than history remembers? The idea that Puma Punku was built with nothing but stone tools is no longer just questioned, it's actively being rejected by independent engineers, researchers, and even some open-minded archaeologists. But if not chisels and ropes, then what? Let's explore the most provocative theories behind the lost technology of Puma Punku. 1. Advanced stone machining tools. This theory suggests the builders had access to high-precision tools, possibly using rotating drills, diamond-tipped saws, or even ultrasonic cutters. Several of the angular cuts at Puma Punku mimic modern CNC machining. Some of the block faces show consistent depth grooves and inner right angles, features nearly impossible to achieve without rotary blades or powered instruments. Yet no such tools have ever been recovered. Could these tools have been made of perishable materials like copper alloys with unknown properties, or were they scavenged and lost in time? 2. Magnetics and anti-gravity. Some researchers suggest that the ancient builders may have utilized Earth's magnetic fields or anti-gravitational forces. They point to subtle magnetic anomalies at ancient sites, including Tiwanaku and Puma Punku. If the builders had knowledge of magnetic resonance or the manipulation of gravity technologies, we still struggle to understand moving and shaping megalithic stones would suddenly become plausible. Ancient legends from the Andes speak of stones that floated like feathers and chants that lifted the mountains. Could these be metaphor or a record of actual phenomena? 3. Sound and frequency engineering. Another theory focuses on the use of sound frequencies to manipulate matter. Some researchers believe ancient cultures understood harmonic frequencies deeply. Cymatics, the study of how sound affects physical material, has shown that specific tones can change the shape of particles and liquids. Is it possible the builders used tonal resonance or acoustic levitation to move and shape the Blocksite cultures across the world have oral traditions that speak of tones, chants, or instruments used to move large objects. From the sonic keys of Tibet to the trumpets of Jericho, this idea echoes across continents. 4. Lost civilizations with forgotten science. Rather than attributing the technology to aliens or mythical beings, many researchers now consider a more grounded possibility that there once existed a human civilization advanced in science and engineering that predates the known ones. This civilization, possibly wiped out by a cataclysmic event, left behind clues at sites like Puma Punku, but their knowledge was not passed forward. Instead, it was inherited in fragments, misunderstood, and eventually lost. The evidence may never come in the form of metal tools or written blueprints. Instead, it lives in the design, the geometry, and the silent testimony of stone. Puma Punku may be one of the few remaining pieces of a puzzle, a glimpse into a time when humanity reached heights we no longer remember. What happened to the master builders of Puma Punku? The Andes hold echoes of a great civilization, perhaps one that predates the Inca, even Tiwanaku. But their name, language, and legacy have largely vanished from history. Only the ruins remain. Some researchers point to sudden climatic changes. Geological evidence suggests that a devastating natural catastrophe may have struck the region around 12,000 years ago, possibly the same cataclysm that ended the last ice age. Massive floods, tectonic shifts, or even a comet impact could have swept away entire populations. Structures like Puma Punku, partly buried and shattered, bear marks that may not be from erosion alone but from sudden, violent upheaval. The sheer dislocation of massive stones, some weighing over 100 tons, cannot be explained by simple decay or looting. The site seems to have been ripped apart. Ancient legends of the Aymara and Quechua peoples speak of a golden age before the gods fled or fell from the sky. The creator god Virakaka was said to have emerged from Lake Titicaca and built the world, only to retreat after a great disaster. Could these myths reflect memories of a real collapse, echoes of a time when technology, knowledge, and order were lost? Puma Punku may not just be a construction site, it may be a memorial to a civilization erased by disaster and buried by time. But if their knowledge was destroyed, how do we still remember? Some of it may survive in architecture, myth, and symbol. In the unexplained alignments, the resonance of design, the harmony of geometry, fragments of a system that once spanned the globe. In the end, Puma Punku is not just about stones, tools, or ancient labor. It represents a greater question about who we are, where we came from, and how much we have forgotten. The extreme precision of its blocks, the unexplained techniques of construction, and the symbolic patterns encoded into its layout all point to an ancient intelligence, a mastery of engineering and cosmology we still struggle to grasp today. Perhaps it was not built by gods or aliens, but by a previous epoch of humanity, one with knowledge as deep as ours, expressed in stone instead of silicon. Its builders may have understood the Earth as a system of energy and form. They may have known how to resonate with the planet with sound, magnetism, or frequency. They may have seen architecture not just as structure but as science made sacred. Modern science is only now catching up to the mysteries the ancients may have mastered. Geometry, resonance, electromagnetism, these are not new frontiers. They are rediscoveries. What Puma Punku reveals, above all, is the incompleteness of our history. Every block is a question. Every joint is a challenge. Every unexplained angle is an invitation to re-examine the timeline of our civilization. We stand today at a turning point not just in technology, but in memory. As we uncover these lost wonders, we are not just learning about the past, we are remembering who we once were.